Before start this video, please subscribe my channel and click on bell icon. Thanks.
Where is Cleopatra's tomb? Who made the devil's footprints? What happened to Abigail Williams? If you don't know about any of those queries yet, you are sure to after this surprising list of history's most persistent mysteries. In this list, we'll dive into 10 of the most pressing historical questions that experts still haven't been able to answer. No matter how much these 10 items are studied, nobody can come away with a conclusive take. And as time keeps on passing us by, every day brings more certainty that the truth will probably never quite be known. Related, Top 10 of the creepiest disappearances throughout history. 10. What fate befell Abigail? Blaming the family slave, Tituba, the girls accused her of sending them into a life of witchcraft. She confessed and then quickly implicated 2 more women. Nobody ever heard from her again. Today, experts suggest she may have acted out due to her powerless position in society and sought temporary control for attention or influence. Historians wonder whether that could have led to her untimely demise and, thus, her subsequent disappearance from historical accounts. But nobody knows for sure. As far as the records are concerned, she simply vanished. 1. 9. Who's buried there? The mysterious, enormous, and incredible Mozu tombs of ancient Japan. Ancient architects. Japan is home to ancient tombs, called kofun. These tombs were all built from the 3rd to 7th centuries AD. Unlike the famous pyramids, these tombs have a unique keyhole design and vary in size. Some are just a few dozen feet long. Others stretch for thousands of feet. The largest kofun, known as Daisen Kofun, is located in Sakai, Osaka Prefecture. It measures over 1,500 feet, 457 meters, in length and 1,000 feet, 305 meters, in width. However, the identity of the person buried inside remains a mystery. Traditionally, Emperor Nintoku, the 16th emperor of Japan during the 4th century, has been associated with this tomb. Despite this belief, no academic or scientist has confirmed it. That's because there have always been very strict regulations prohibiting entry into the tomb. However, there has been recent progress. In 2018, archaeologists were permitted to excavate the moats for ancient artifacts. And there has been talk of excavating the mound itself since 2020. This still has yet to occur, but that appears to be some level of progress toward figuring out who is buried inside. Thus, there is hope this long-standing enigma may finally be unraveled in the years ahead. 2. 8. Who burned down the house? Cucutini Tripilia culture. Ancient European civilization in Neolithic Europe, a puzzling trend emerged where people deliberately set fire to their own houses. This phenomenon, known as the burned house horizon, was particularly prevalent in the Cucutini Tripilia culture of Eastern Europe. Those people spanned modern-day Ukraine, Romania, and Moldova. But the reasons behind this burning behavior remain shrouded in mystery. There are several possible explanations for this practice. The first 2 theories propose that the burnings were accidental. Perhaps they were caused by flammable materials or attacks by invaders. However, these explanations fail to account for the frequency of the burnings. Plus, there was always a scarcity of human remains found within the charred dwellings. The remaining theories suggest that the burnings were intentional but for different purposes. Additionally, the burnings might have served as a means to recycle old materials and create space. Or perhaps they were part of a religious ceremony meant to symbolize the end of a home's life cycle. Whatever the case, the burned houses remain an enigmatic phenomenon. For centuries now, it has left archaeologists and historians intrigued by the motivations behind these deliberate acts of destruction. And considering how long ago it all happened, it's likely we will never know the real answer. 7. Where's the explorer? It resulted in a highly publicized feud over the leadership of the expedition. Despite their animosity, in 1928, Amundsen received the distressing news that Nobel's airship, the Italia, had crashed during another Arctic exploration. Setting aside their differences, Amundsen and a French crew boarded a Latham 47 floatplane on June 18, 1928. They departed from Tromsø, Norway, to aid in the rescue operation. No wreckage or bodies have been recovered. Despite intermittent search efforts and knowing the plane's exact route, no evidence has ever been found. In 2009, a team even employed an underwater robot to explore 45 square miles, 116.5 square kilometers, of the seafloor in search of the plane's remains. Sadly, their endeavors proved unsuccessful. The mystery of Roald Amundsen's final flight endures now. It is shrouded in unanswered questions about the vast expanse of the unforgiving ice and sea. 6. Where'd the brothers go? João Vaz Corte-Real was a well-known 15th-century explorer who sailed for the Portuguese crown. He gained influential positions in the Azores Islands during his career at sea. Sadly, the sons would soon meet a far worse demise. In 1500, Gaspar Corte-Real embarked on a voyage to the North Atlantic. He had done so at the behest of King Manuel I of Portugal. Hindered once again by ice, he altered his course and finally reached new land. It was believed to be Newfoundland, but records are suspect. That's because once he got there, he encountered native peoples. They agreed to regroup later at a specific point. However, history repeated itself when the other two ships returned, but Miguel's vessel went missing. He simply did not want to lose a third brother to the sea in the same way. To this day, the destiny of the Corte-Real brothers remains shrouded in uncertainty. He played a crucial role in Mao Zedong's triumph and subsequent rise to power. However, on September 13, 1971, tragedy struck and ended his life under suspicious circumstances. Initially, the Chinese government remained silent about Lin's fate. It wasn't until a full year after the crash that they disclosed the official version of events. Their claim about the death was a shocker too. They asserted Lin Biao died while attempting to escape to the Soviet Union after a failed coup and assassination plot against Mao Zedong. Eventually, in the 1990s, it was confirmed that Lin Biao was indeed on the ill-fated flight. That at least dispelled rumors of backroom family executions or a secret imprisonment orchestrated by Mao. 4. Who made the footprints? What happened in 1855 in Devon still can't be explained by researchers. On the chilly winter night of February 8, 1855, the residents of Devon, England, awoke to a snowy landscape. Imprinted in the snow were tracks resembling cloven hoofs. Nobody could explain how they got there. And there was nothing along with those hoof marks, no footprints, say, from a person leading an animal. Immediately, many superstitious locals believed it was the work of the devil himself. According to shocking newspaper reports from the time, these tracks were attributed to a bipedal creature and not a four-legged one. Even more disturbing, the tracks seemed to defy obstacles. They passed right through walls and started up again. They went over haystacks and rooftops and even crossed the river without much apparent pause. 7. Who killed the Queen? The betraying of a queen, Anne Boleyn and Thomas Cromwell. Anne Boleyn was the former Queen of England and wife of King Henry VIII. During her reign in power, she had a tumultuous relationship with Thomas Cromwell. He was the king's chief minister and a key figure in the English Reformation. Despite once being allies, their association soured over time. Ultimately, it led to Anne's execution for treason. And still today, the question remains, did Cromwell orchestrate her downfall or simply carry out the king's commands? In return, she granted him a position of influence. However, in 1536, Cromwell gathered evidence implicating Anne in multiple acts of adultery, including, allegedly, with her own brother. Found guilty, she was executed on May 19, 1536. That paved the way for Henry VIII to marry Jane Seymour just a few days later. Although much of the evidence against Anne Boleyn was likely fabricated or obtained through torture, historians remain uncertain about Cromwell's role in its collection. Did he deceive the king and conspire against a political rival? Or was he faithfully executing Henry's wishes from the beginning? Understanding how Cromwell may have operated will give further insight into Henry VIII's impactful and infamous reign. And she remains an enigma when it comes to her final resting place. According to Roman historians, after their defeat by Octavian in the Battle of Alexandria, both Cleopatra and her lover Mark Antony took their own lives. Cleopatra's decision came later than her lover's. She was driven by the knowledge that Octavian planned to exhibit her as a triumphant prize in Rome. While some experts consider Alexandria the obvious choice, more recent attention has shifted toward the ruins of Taposiris Magna. That's an ancient city featuring a grand temple dedicated to Osiris. Even though these particular individuals were not Cleopatra and Mark Antony, their prestigious status in Egyptian society sheds light on Taposiris Magna's significance during Cleopatra's era. 9. What doomed the Minoans? The rise and fall of the Minoans explained in 14 minutes over a century ago. Ancient remains of the Minoan civilization were discovered by archaeologists on the Greek islands in the Aegean Sea. These findings revealed that the Minoans were a highly advanced civilization. They pioneered development in Europe at the time with their advanced writing system, impressive art, and grand palaces. They even had a plumbing system as early as 1800 BC. However, by the mid-15th century BC, the Minoans faced a rapid decline. Soon enough, it eventually led to the collapse of their entire civilization. Thus, that raises the question, why? What caused their downfall? Initially, the prevalent belief was that a volcanic eruption on the island of Thera, now known as Santorini, was responsible. However, further research showed that Minoan life continued after the eruption. Then, additional factors were suggested to be at play. Some proposed that the eruption triggered devastating tsunamis and altered the climate. That would have resulted in prolonged periods of cold, wet summers, and subsequent crop failures. And while the eruption's occurrence itself is indisputable, that may not be the entire story here. Other scholars and experts argue a major earthquake caused the collapse of Minoan palaces. Alternatively, another hypothesis suggests the Minoans fell victim to invasions by mainland Greeks, specifically the Mycenaeans. That would thus attribute the civilization's demise to explicitly human actions. Still, nobody quite knows for sure. It remains uncertain whether a single cause or a combination of factors led to the downfall of Europe's first extraordinary civilization. And considering the time period we're talking about here, we may never fully know. 10. Fact checked by Darcy Heikkinen. Thanks for watching. Credits to listverse.com. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.